Hey Sim players, my name's Michaela and I'm going to show you guys how I completed the Royal Quest and opened up the Northern Glade Castle. I was really excited to do this quest and excited to post about it because I know some people haven't done it yet and there's a lot of new players out there still, including me. So let's get started. So as you can see, it takes 2 days and 17 hours to build the castle, which takes 65 lifestyle points, which I wasn't trying to spend at that moment. So I waited about a day and a half or whatever and rushed it along at around 19 hours. We had 19 hours left and said, yeah, let's build the castle. And here we go. We're beginning the Royal Lineage quest. And if we complete it in the 7 days, we get to unlock pet fairies in the pet store. So first we send a sim to the castle. So we'll go inside. And we see that it's raining. And so looking around at the castle looks kind of cool. Obviously you can't get in yet. So we're going to call our first sim over, Lots of Love. And like we said, we can't get into the castle yet, so we have to check out the bushes near the castle. And of course, it was a cute little fairy. Not like a jester or anything weird. A cute fairy, so we'll say hello. And the cool thing about doing quests after midnight is that you have Osiris to quick complete your actions. Next, we'll pick her some flowers. And the flowers are supposed to cheer her up because she's been guarding the castle from the bad weather all by herself. So we're gonna help her out and start by cheering her up. So next we have to show her the flowers. And once again, it was after midnight when I did this, so I was able to have the action quick completed, but I did have to watch an ad. So next we have to ask about chivalry, since the fairy explained that doing nice things is called chivalry. And we see that it takes about 4 hours and 17 minutes. So our fairy is looking for a special sim who is able to stop the rain, and this is a lot for our sim to take in, so we have to go home and take a nap and dream about royalty. So we called our guy Lots of Love over here to a bed so he can dream about royalty, which takes 9.5 hours. So we're gonna skip it, use our LP. Next we have to cook brisket in a park, which we already know is going to take a good amount of time. It's always nice to start a quest with a nice amount of LP, so you can skip these long actions. Next we have to call the Sims over to eat the brisket. So we call our 4 Sims over and we'll have them eat the brisket. And luckily, as soon as we call them to the meal, the action is completed, so we can move on and tell the fairy about how the feast went. And of course, we actually don't need the Sims to finish the action, so we'll have Lots of Love cancel his action and go back to the castle so he can move on. And now we have to tell her about the feast. It takes 3 hours and 20 minutes, and we'll go ahead and skip. Now the fairy says she was watching the feast the entire time and she knew that we could lift the rain from the moment she saw us. So we have to thank the fairy for her kind words, which takes only 4 minutes and 45 seconds. So we're not going to bother skipping that, but we are going to go cancel our other Sims actions so they can go do more important stuff. Now the fairy tells us there's a monster fish at the park that tries to grab her when she passes by. Fairies are not flies. So we have to go catch the monster fish. Let's go to the park and we're gonna fish till we catch this guy. But first we have to sit on a park bench and build up the courage. Let's do it. So now we're ready to catch the monster fish. We worked up the courage. We're brave enough. We can do it. And I didn't try to waste you guys' time with this part because it took me a couple tries it was like, no monster fish, try again. And I got him on the third try. And of course you get XP and simoleons once you catch him. And now we go back to the fairy to tell her the story of how we didn't actually catch the fish, but we're still brave. So now we'll send Lotso Love back to the castle and tell his fish story. We quick completed it, and now we have to search SimList on a computer for one last trait that we need in order to stop the rain. So basically we are going to trade. We are going to make a trade on SimList, which takes 7 hours and 7 minutes. So we found a person on SimList that has the trait that we need, and they just want to trade some beans with us. So we are going to go to a garden patch and grow some beans.
Magic beans?
Yeah, magic beans for the fairy tale. So we're going to grow our beans, and then we're going to have our 2 Sims in the park to make a trade. So we're calling over Crystal Ball and Lotso Love to the park to trade beans, and it takes 8 hours, but I waited till 6 hours, and it turns out that she traded her honor. So we'll return to the fairy with our chivalry, bravery, and honor, and we will say yes to the fairy's question. She asked us if we had all the traits needed, so we will say yes.
Good lord, 8 hours, they was tripping anyways.
So once we say yes to the fairy, the rain stops, but the gates are rusted, and the fairy needs help lifting the gates. She needs some encouragement, so the sim is like, yes, you are strong, you can do it, you are great. And now we high-five the fairy, because she can get the job done. And once we ask her about the bridge, she's able to open it, and boom, the drawbridge is open and we can get inside. And that was the final task. So we've completed the quest and we can explore the castle. And since we did it in the limited amount of time, we can find the pet fairies in the pet store. So as you can see, next we have to master the archery hobby in order to get inside the castle. So I have started the archery hobby with 2 Sims, and we're gonna get inside that castle really soon. Now we're going to the pet store and we're gonna check out our cool new fairies. So the green one, the blue one, the pink one, she's pretty cool. You can have 2 pets per household, so I decided to go with her. She was my first pick for one of my households where I want to have 2 fairies. And I can be pretty cheap on Sims, and social points are really hard to get. This fairy is super cool right here, but she costs 30 social points, and I just couldn't afford her, so maybe next time. If you guys get her, just add me and maybe I'll come visit. But I decided to go with the blue fairy as the second fairy for that household, and we'll go visit them, visit the house. And it does say to place the fairy flower somewhere, but as you can see, it is already in the yard. So we click on it and it takes 24 hours to bloom into a fairy. So we will come back in a day. Gladly, when the fairies were ready, I got a pop-up message that they were ready to bloom. So I went over to the house, I clicked on the flowers, and boom, they were ready to go. Those cute little fairies. There's the blue one, there's the pink one, and there they go, just flying around, ready to look for treasure. Oh, look at them. They took the elevator. Oh, so cute. By the way, this is my mommy dream house. Perfect for having babies. Cute nursery and bathroom and upstairs kitchen and elevator for the mom while she's pregnant. And yeah, there's our first treasure from the blue fairy. There she is skipping along. It's cute. Sometimes they skip and sometimes they fly, and their wings are so freaking cool. And I sped the video along as much as I could, but the fairies found treasure pretty quickly. like within a minute or two. And the coolest part is just how they skip and fly around. Like they're just a cool feature to any house. And it was totally worth completing the quest early. Like I started with about 100 LP and I just kept earning LP on the side. And keep in mind, this is a day after I completed the Royal Quest. I also did the basement quest afterward, and I used a bunch of LP for that and some house builds, so I didn't use like 70 LP for this. And once again, in the meantime, you're going to be practicing archery, mastering that archery hobby, so we can get inside the castle. Then with each row of the hobby that you complete, you will earn one of the 4 statues that you need to unlock the castle. So you can see I've got my first one already, and I'm working on the other 3. It's always funny that the Sims get off to a rocky start when they start a new hobby. But that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll come back once I get inside the castle. Bye.